Elena Rodriguez stared at the computer screen, her hands trembling. Another deaf child, another wealthy family, another decade of expensive treatments that went nowhere. This was the 47th case. The maid who'd exposed a millionaire's medical conspiracy thought the nightmare was over. She'd saved Ethan Corleone. She'd brought down corrupt doctors. Justice had been served. But as she looked at the pattern emerging across 12 states, Elena realized something terrifying. What happened to Ethan wasn't an isolated incident. It was systematic, organized, and far bigger than anyone imagined. The phone rang, shattering the 2 a.m. silence. An unknown number. Ms. Rodriguez, a woman's voice whispered, panicked. "My daughter can't hear. The doctors say there's nothing they can do. But I read about what you did. I think they're lying to me too." Elena closed her eyes. "Tell me everything." And that's when she discovered that saving one child was just the beginning. Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back to Unbroken Truths. I'm so grateful you're here. Where in the world are you watching from? Drop your city or country in the comments. If you haven't seen part 1 of Elena's story, go watch it now, because what you're about to hear proves that sometimes the scariest stories are the ones that don't end when we think they do. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Trust me, what happens next will shake you to your core. Now, before we dive in, have you ever discovered that something you thought was over was actually just beginning? Drop a comment, because Elena's about to learn that exposing the truth doesn't end the fight. Sometimes it just shows you how big the war really is. 2 years had passed since the trial. The Corleone Foundation was thriving. Over 800 children helped. Elena Rodriguez, once a maid, now wore a white coat as director of patient care. But something gnawed at her. It started with the emails, families begging for help, children suffering, parents desperate. That was normal. But Elena began noticing patterns. She sat in her office late one Tuesday night. On her desk lay 47 case files. 47 children, 12 different states, all deaf, all from wealthy families. All treated by expensive specialists for years with no improvement. Elena's heart pounded as she cross-referenced the medical records. Different hospitals, different cities, but the same names kept appearing. Prometheus Medical Associates. She never heard of them during Ethan's case. But here they were, listed as consulting specialists in case after case after case. Her hands shook as she typed the name into her computer. The website was sleek, professional. Prometheus Medical Associates, excellence in pediatric specialty care management. She clicked through the staff directory. 37 doctors. And there, in the testimonials, Dr. Morrison provided such consistent care for our son. The same Dr. Morrison who kept Ethan sick, who was now in federal prison. Elena grabbed her phone. "Daniel," she said when he answered, his voice groggy. "I found something. What if it's happening everywhere?" The next morning, Daniel stood at his office window. Elena spread files across his conference table. "This is circumstantial," he said quietly. "Similar cases don't prove conspiracy." "We won, Elena." He turned to face her, and she saw fear in his eyes. "We exposed the corruption, helped hundreds of children. Why go looking for another fight? Because there are children suffering right now." "And what if you're wrong?" Elena's voice hardened. "And what if I'm right? What if 47 children stay deaf because we were too afraid to look?" The door burst open. Ethan stood there, now 13, tall and confident. "Dad, I heard everything. Elena's right. If there's even a chance, we have to help them." Daniel looked between his son and Elena. Finally, he sighed. "Okay, we investigate, but carefully." That night, Elena stayed late, building a database. The pattern became clearer, sharper, undeniable. She didn't hear her office door open, didn't notice she wasn't alone until a voice spoke from the shadows. "You're very thorough, Miss Rodriguez." Elena jumped. A man stood in her doorway, middle-aged, expensive suit, cold smile. "Who are you?" "A friend. Someone who wants to help you, who understands what you're getting into." He placed an envelope on her desk. "Consider this a warning from people who prefer to remain undisturbed. If you're trying to scare me, I'm trying to save your life." His smile never reached his eyes. "That's a beautiful son Ethan's becoming. 13 years old, walks to Jefferson Middle School every morning at 7:45. It would be a shame if something happened to him." Elena's world tilted. The man disappeared. Inside the envelope was a photograph of her walking Ethan to school that morning. Written on the back in red ink, "Stop digging." Elena didn't sleep that night. At 6 a.m., her phone rang. Unknown number. "Miss Rodriguez? My name is Marcus Chen. You don't know me, but we have something in common. I'm a father whose son was kept deaf for profit, just like Ethan Corleone, and I want to burn down everyone responsible." 2 hours later, Elena sat in a crowded coffee shop. Marcus Chen entered, Asian, late 40s, quiet confidence. He sat down, placing a tablet on the table. "My son David is 7, born deaf. We spent 4 years with the best specialists, Stanford, Johns Hopkins, Mayo Clinic. Everyone said the same thing, permanent, untreatable." He swiped the tablet. "Then I read about Ethan. I demanded David's doctors examine him again. Look specifically for parasites. They found it in 20 minutes. 20 minutes to find what 4 years somehow missed. The same species in Ethan's ear. Oh God, David can hear now. But I'm not grateful. I'm furious. They stole 4 years." Marcus leaned forward, "So I followed the money." He swiped through documents, financial statements, shell companies, offshore accounts. Prometheus Medical Associates coordinates long-term care strategies. They deliberately keep children sick to maximize payouts. I estimate over $2.3 billion in the last 15 years. Elena felt sick. How many children? At least 284 cases matching the pattern. He looked at her. "And those are just the ones we've found." "We will go to the FBI. I already tried to open the investigation. They closed it 3 weeks later. Insufficient evidence. Someone shut it down." Marcus's expression darkened. "Someone with serious power. Then what do we do? We expose them so publicly they can't hide. I have resources, investigators, technology. What I need is a witness with your credibility. The woman who saved Ethan Corleone." Elena thought of the photograph. The threat. "They threatened my family. They threatened mine too. Someone tried to grab David from school. My security stopped them." Marcus's voice turned to steel. "These people think money and fear will protect them. I'm going to prove them wrong." That evening, Elena told Daniel everything about Marcus Chen, the investigation, the 284 children. "Marcus believes in results, no matter what it takes," Daniel said carefully. "And which approach saved Ethan? Your patience or my willingness to break rules?" The question hung between them. Ethan appeared in the doorway. "You're talking about the new cases. It's okay to be scared. But you taught me that doing nothing because you're scared is worse than trying and failing." Daniel's eyes glistened. "When did you get so wise?" "I learned from the best. So what are we going to do?" Daniel met Elena's eyes. "We help them, all of them, whatever it takes." The next morning they met Marcus at his office. His team was assembled. Private investigators, tech specialists, former FBI agent, medical attorney. Marcus pulled up a presentation. The next hour revealed the network. How Prometheus identified wealthy families through insurance partnerships. How they assigned care coordinators. How they paid kickbacks for referrals. "This is organized fraud," the FBI agent explained. "RICO violations, wire fraud, insurance fraud, hundreds of millions in illegal profits." "Then why hasn't anyone stopped them?" Ethan asked. "Because Prometheus has protection. Politicians they've donated to, regulators they've influenced, media outlets they advertise with." Marcus pulled up a web of connections. "They've insulated themselves carefully." "Then how do we break through?" "We don't break through. We go around. We expose them so completely, in so many places at once, their protectors can't contain it." Marcus looked at Elena. "We need someone currently inside Prometheus to turn. Someone with a conscience." Elena thought of Rebecca, the nurse from the original case. "There's always someone who knows it's wrong. We just have to find them." Pause for just a moment. Elena is about to make a decision that will put her directly in the crosshairs of one of the most powerful medical organizations in the country. Have you ever had to choose between safety and doing what's right? Comment below with one word: safety or courage. Which would you choose? If you're feeling what I'm feeling, hit that like button and share this video, because what happens next proves that ordinary people create extraordinary change. Finding a whistleblower proved harder than expected. Marcus's investigators reached out to 37 current and former Prometheus employees. Most refused. Several hung up. 2 reported the contact to management, but on the 18th day a response came. An email. "I'll talk, but I need protection, and I need to know my family will be safe." Signed only, Rebecca. Elena's heart stopped. Rebecca? Could it be? Marcus pulled up information. Rebecca Chen, distant cousin of mine. She worked at St. Mary during the Corleone case. Left suddenly. I know why, Elena said quietly. She tried to warn us about Dr. Morrison. Then she disappeared. They arranged a meeting at the downtown shopping mall. Hundreds of witnesses, Marcus's security positioned throughout. Rebecca arrived on time. Elena recognized her thinner dark circles under her eyes. I've been waiting 2 years for someone to ask, Rebecca said. Waiting for someone to care enough to question what's really happening. We're questioning now, Elena said gently. Tell us everything. Rebecca took a breath. I worked for Prometheus for 6 years. I started as a pediatric nurse. Then they recruited me to their care coordination team, Beresorde. Better pay, important work, or so they said. What did it actually mean? Marcus asked. Managing patients to maximize revenue. We had quotas, target earnings per patient. If a child could be cured quickly, we'd extend treatment, find complications, recommend additional procedures. Elena felt sick. The parasites? We always identified early. We saw them on scans, but Prometheus' protocol was to monitor rather than treat. Keep them in the system longer. That's monstrous, Ethan whispered. Rebecca looked at him, tears streaming. You're Ethan Corleone. I flagged your case 3 times, saying the parasite needed immediate removal. Each time, Dr. Morrison overruled me. Why didn't you go to the authorities? I tried to contact the medical board. 2 days later, Prometheus fired me, threatened to sue for millions, destroy my license and ruin my family. Rebecca laughed bitterly. But I can't sleep, haven't slept right in 2 years. I see those children's faces. She pulled a USB drive from her pocket. When they fired me, I kept copies of patient files, financial records, internal emails. I've been waiting for the right moment. If you testify, they'll come after you, Marcus warned. Let them. I have evidence they don't know about. They spent hours in a secure conference room reviewing the evidence, detailed spreadsheets categorizing children by family wealth, email chains discussing revenue optimization, financial projections treating suffering as a growth opportunity. One email from Dr. Catherine Vance, Prometheus's CEO. Remember, our goal is sustainable patient relationships, not quick resolutions. A cured patient is a lost revenue stream. We're not in the business of healing. We're in the business of care management. She actually wrote that, Elena whispered. As they worked, Daniel's phone rang. His face went pale. Ethan's school just called. Someone tried to sign him out early. Said they were his uncle. The man ran when they got suspicious. The room went silent. They know we're meeting, Elena said. They're sending a message. Marcus stood. Get Ethan now. Bring him here. Rebecca's phone buzzed. She looked at it and went white. She turned her phone around. A photo of her 2 children playing in their backyard, taken from a neighboring window. Below, think carefully about what you're doing. My kids, Rebecca's hands shook. They know where my kids are. We need to move now, Marcus ordered. My security will get your family to safety, but we can't wait. If they're this desperate, they know we're close. Close to what? Daniel asked. Marcus smiled grimly. Close to destroying them. The plan was insane, everyone agreed. I'll apply for a position at Prometheus, Elena said. Medical consultant. Absolutely not, Daniel said immediately. They know who you are. They threatened me anonymously. Officially, I'm just someone who exposed a rogue doctor. I could be looking to work with legitimate companies. It's too dangerous. It's our best shot, Marcus countered. Elena has real credentials now. They might buy that she's moved on. And if they don't, Daniel demanded, then my security extracts her immediately. Marcus looked at Elena. But I won't lie, this is dangerous. 3 days later, Elena sat in Prometheus headquarters, 20th floor, glass and steel, everything projecting success. She wore a hidden camera, a panic button in her pocket. If she pressed it twice, Marcus's team would breach in under 30 seconds. Dr. Vance will see you now. Elena's heart pounded. Dr. Catherine Vance's office was stunning, corner view, awards everywhere, photos with politicians and celebrities. Catherine herself was in her 50s, silver hair, designer suit, a smile that probably convinced donors she cared. Miss Rodriguez, Catherine said warmly, I'm so pleased to meet you. I followed the Corleone case closely, quite remarkable. Elena shook her hand. Thank you. It taught me about patient advocacy. Indeed. Please, sit. Catherine settled behind her desk. I was surprised to receive your application. After exposing medical malpractice, I'd think you'd be skeptical. I exposed one corrupt doctor, not the entire medical community. Most doctors genuinely want to help patients. A refreshing perspective. Catherine pulled up Elena's resume. Your credentials are impressive, and your real-world experience is unique. I learned to really see patients, not just treat symptoms. Exactly our philosophy at Prometheus. We specialize in complex, long-term pediatric cases, children who need sustained management rather than rushed treatment. Elena's stomach turned. What kind of cases? Various conditions, neurological disorders, hearing impairments, developmental challenges, cases requiring ongoing coordination between specialists, insurance providers, and families. Hearing impairments, like deafness, among others, we've had remarkable success managing pediatric hearing loss. Catherine smiled. Management is key. These are delicate situations requiring sustained care. What if a child could be cured quickly? Wouldn't that be better? Catherine's smile didn't waver, but her eyes sharpened. Miss Rodriguez, medicine isn't about quick fixes. It's about comprehensive care. Families need support systems for continuity. If we simply fixed everything immediately, we'd abandon them. Elena recognized the rationalization. I see. Good. Catherine stood, walking to the window. Let me be frank. Your celebrity from the Corleone case is an asset. Prometheus would benefit from someone with your profile demonstrating that not all long-term care is suspicious. They wanted to use her credibility. You'd be showcasing your work, among other responsibilities. Patient advocate within our network. Salary would be substantial, $200,000 annually to start. They were offering a fortune to become their shield. That's generous. We value quality people. Are you interested? Elena thought of the 284 children. I'd like to see your facilities and understand the operation better. Catherine's smile widened. Of course, let me give you a tour. The next hour was surreal. Catherine showed off Prometheus like a successful business, which is exactly how she saw it. This is our care coordination center. A room full of people at computers. Each coordinator manages 15 to 20 patient cases. Elena glanced at screens, lists of children's names. Next to each, numerical values, projected revenue per patient. How do you decide treatment duration? Based on medical necessity, of course. Though we consider the family's ability to sustain long-term care. Wealthy families can afford comprehensive management. We'd be doing them a disservice by rushing treatment. The cynicism was breathtaking. Another room. Our analytics division. They identify potential patients who would benefit from our services. Screens showed algorithms sorting children by family income, insurance limits, medical conditions, scoring humans by profit potential. They returned to Catherine's office. What do you think? Elena needed to push harder to get something undeniable on camera. It's impressive, but what happens when a child could be cured immediately? Like with a treatable parasite? Catherine's expression didn't change, but something flickered. We follow medical best practices, which are comprehensive assessment, ensure the family understands all options, including continued management versus immediate intervention. But if immediate intervention is clearly better is subjective, Miss Rodriguez. Catherine leaned forward. Consider the Corleone case. Yes, you removed the parasite, but think about what the family lost. Their support system, the doctors guiding them, the insurance coverage. You gave them a quick fix but destroyed their long-term care infrastructure. Elena couldn't believe it. Catherine was arguing keeping Ethan deaf was better. You think keeping him sick was better? Catherine noticed the change in tone. Her eyes narrowed. I think rushing to treat without considering implications is irresponsible. But you seem very focused on this scenario, almost investigatively so. Elena forced a smile, just trying to understand the philosophy. Perhaps that's why we'd value your perspective. Catherine stood. Thank you for coming. I'll have my team send an official offer. As they shook hands, Catherine held on longer than necessary. You seem very interested in our protocols. You know, Miss Rodriguez, sometimes people who dig too deeply find things they weren't prepared to handle. The threat was clear. Elena smiled politely. I'll keep that in mind. Outside, Marcus's team surrounded her. We got everything. Every word is recorded. Elena leaned against the wall. She as much as admitted it. Not quite enough for criminal charges, the agent said, but enough to destroy her reputation. Back at Marcus's headquarters, Daniel watched the footage with horror. "This is monstrous." "This is evidence," Marcus said, "but we need one more thing. The actual database. Patient lists showing which children they've deliberately kept untreated." Everyone looked at Rebecca. "I can get in," she said quietly. "I still have my old access credentials. It's too dangerous," Elena said. "You just walked into the lion's den," Rebecca smiled. "Let me do my part. Those files prove everything. I've already chosen to fight. Let me finish it." 24 hours later, at 2 a.m., Rebecca sat outside Prometheus headquarters. Marcus's tech team had given her equipment to copy the entire database. 15 minutes, in and out. Elena, Daniel, Marcus, and Ethan watched from a van a block away. Screens showed feeds from throughout the building. "This is insane," Daniel muttered. "We do this ourselves or not at all," Marcus said. Rebecca entered. The guard barely looked up, recognizing her. She took the elevator to the 5th floor. Her keycard worked green light. "She's in." Rebecca moved to a server terminal, plugging in the device. Files began downloading. Download at 40%, 10 more minutes. Then Rebecca stiffened, looking at something off camera. "Rebecca, what's wrong?" "Someone else is here." The camera swung around. Dr. Catherine Vance emerged from the shadows. "Hello, Rebecca. Working late? Or working against us?" "Abort," Marcus ordered. "Get out now." But Catherine blocked the door. Security guards entered. "Did you really think we wouldn't notice you accessing our systems? We've been tracking you since you walked in." "We need to go in," Elena stood. "Wait," Marcus held up his hand. "Download is at 80%. 2 more minutes, they're going to arrest her." On screen, Catherine stepped closer. "You were always too sentimental, too concerned with ethics. That's why you never succeeded here." "Succeeded? You call destroying children's lives success? I call building a $2 billion operation success. Those children receive excellent care. You're keeping them sick, on purpose, for money. I'm ensuring sustained care management. There's a difference. 95%. Catherine noticed the device. Corporate espionage. 10 years in federal prison. Worth it if it stops you. "Stop me? Darling, you have no idea how deep this goes. We have partnerships with 17 insurance companies, 43 hospitals, and medical boards in 12 states. You think releasing files will stop us? We'll bury you in legal motions." 100%. We have everything. Go! The security team burst from the van. Catherine pulled out her phone. "Security, intruder in data center 5. Rebecca yanked the device and ran, but guards blocked her. "It's over, Rebecca." Rebecca looked at her hidden camera. "No, you lose." She held up the device. "Everything is uploaded to the cloud. Patient files, financial records, every crime. It's already gone public." Catherine's face went white. "You're bluffing. Check your phone, social media, and the news." Because while Rebecca was inside, Marcus's team had been working. The moment the download completed, they released everything. Every document, to every major news outlet simultaneously, to medical boards, to the FBI, to Congress, and to the families of all 284 children. Catherine grabbed her phone, her face draining of color as she scrolled. "What have you done?" "I ended you." Marcus's security burst through. "Miss Chen is coming with us." Catherine stood frozen, her empire crumbling. The next 72 hours were chaos. The story exploded worldwide. Prometheus Exposed trended #1. Medical conspiracy kept hundreds of children sick for profit. The files contained everything. Patient lists, revenue projections, emails discussing optimal treatment extension, financial statements showing billions in profits. But worse were the patient files. Detailed notes showing doctors identifying treatable conditions and deliberately not treating them. One internal memo made headlines everywhere. From Catherine Vance, Revenue Optimization Protocol. It laid out explicitly how to identify wealthy families and extend their treatment to maximize profits. Target patients from families with net worth exceeding $5 million. Initial treatment should establish dependency. Avoid complete resolution. The goal is 8 to 15 years of sustained care per patient. Public outrage was immediate and overwhelming. FBI has announced a multi-state investigation, the news reported. Federal agents raided Prometheus headquarters. Dr. Catherine Vance and 42 others arrested on charges of medical fraud, conspiracy, insurance fraud, and child endangerment. Another channel showed protesters. How many more? Their signs read. Our children are not products. Marcus's phone rang constantly. Media requests, families sharing stories, lawyers offering help. We're getting calls from 17 countries, Marcus said, parents asking if similar operations exist there. This is bigger than Prometheus, Elena said. We've exposed a systemic problem. Good, Daniel said. Then we address it systemically. The trial lasted 6 weeks. The prosecution presented devastating evidence, financial records, patient files with notes like delay treatment to extend care window, expert witnesses, and then the families. One by one, parents testified. We trusted them, a father said, voice breaking. Instead, they kept her sick to drain our bank account. 5 years my son couldn't hear me say I loved him because Dr. Vance wanted a vacation home. The testimony went on. 284 families, each one a knife to Catherine's defense. Then Elena took the stand. She told them everything about Ethan, the parasite, the pattern, the investigation. Catherine's lawyer tried to discredit her. You're not a doctor. You performed an unlicensed procedure. You break laws you disagree with. I did what no one else would, Elena said firmly. I saw a child suffering and helped him. You believe compassion justifies breaking any rule. Your client kept children sick for profit. Elena interrupted. That's not interpretation. That's a fact proven by her own documents. Documents obtained illegally. Documents that saved 187 children's hearing. How many children need to be healed before evidence is legitimate? The jury deliberated for 3 days. Has the jury reached a verdict? We have, Your Honor. Elena sat between Daniel and Marcus, breath held. Rebecca behind them, Ethan with the other children. On conspiracy to commit medical fraud, how do you find? Guilty. Courtroom erupted. On insurance fraud? Guilty. On child endangerment? 284 counts. Guilty on all counts. Catherine sat motionless, no emotion, no remorse. At sentencing, Judge Reynolds looked at Catherine with disgust. Dr. Vance, you took an oath to heal. Instead, you built an empire on children's suffering. You treated humans as revenue streams. You stole years from families who trusted you. This court sentences you to 40 years in federal prison on each count, consecutively. 240 years minimum. You will never practice medicine again. The gavel came down. Outside, families gathered. Media everywhere. Daniel stepped to microphones. Justice was served today. But our work isn't finished. There are still children suffering, still systems prioritizing profit, still people who need someone to care. Marcus took the microphone. The Corleone Foundation is expanding to 47 states, training doctors in ethical care, creating oversight to prevent this from ever happening again. Elena stepped forward. The crowd quieted. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a lawyer or billionaire. I was a maid who couldn't look away from a child's pain. And that was enough. She looked at cameras. You don't need a degree or wealth or power to change the world. You just need to care enough to try, and to refuse to stop when they tell you to. Behind her, the 284 families stood together. Children who could now hear. Parents who got their children back. We're not done, Elena said firmly. This case exposed one network, but there are other systems that are failing children. We're going to keep looking until every child gets the care they deserve. The crowd erupted in cheers. 3 years passed. The Corleone Foundation now operates in 63 countries. Over 12,000 children received free care. Legislation passed in 42 states. Medical schools worldwide require ethics training based on the Prometheus case. But the real victory was simpler. Elena stood in the foundation's main hall, renamed the Samuel Rodriguez Memorial Center. The walls are covered with photos of children smiling, families reunited, lives transformed. One photo showed all 284 children holding a banner, "We are silent no more." Still my favorite, Daniel said behind her, Ethan beside him. Ethan was 16 now, preparing to study biomedical ethics. Mine too. The World Health Organization called. They want to implement our oversight protocols globally. That's wonderful. It's because of you. Every child we've helped, every system we've changed, it started because you couldn't walk away. Marcus appeared with his son David. The ceremony's about to start. For what? Elena asked. They led her to the auditorium. Hundreds of people, all the families. Rebecca in front, doctors they trained. Children helped. On stage, a screen showed her face. The Elena Rodriguez Medal for Compassionate Courage. 6 years ago, a maid refused to ignore suffering, Marcus said. Today, we honor others who demonstrate the same courage. He gestured to the screen. A young Asian woman appeared, 23 old with determined eyes. This is Dr. Michelle Park. She just exposed similar medical fraud in South Korea. 47 children. She used Elena's story as inspiration. Our protocols to investigate. Yesterday, she testified and brought down an entire medical network. The audience erupted. There are others, Daniel said quietly. 12 more cases in 9 countries, all exposed by people inspired by what you did. You didn't just save 284 children. You started a global movement. Elena couldn't speak. After the ceremony, a young girl approached, maybe 8. My mom said your brother is the reason I can hear now. Thank you for not forgetting him. Never, Elena promised. I'll never forget. That night, the core team sat in the empty hall. Elena, Daniel, Marcus, Ethan, David, Rebecca. We should celebrate, Marcus said. We've changed the world. Have we? Elena asked. There are still children suffering. Which is why we keep going, Ethan said. The work's never done. Rebecca pulled out her phone. Speaking of the next fight, an email from a woman in Australia. She thinks her daughter is experiencing something similar. Send me her information, Elena said. We'll look into it. Don't you ever want to rest? Elena thought about it, about safety and peace. Then she thought about the children still waiting, still suffering, still hoping. No, there's too much work to do. Then we do it together, Daniel said. Dear friends of Unbroken Truths, let me tell you what this story really means. Elena Rodriguez started powerless, a maid with no degree, wealth, no connections, just eyes that saw suffering and a heart that refused to accept it. And she changed the world. Not because she was special, but because she chose to care when caring was dangerous. She chose to act when action meant sacrifice. She chose courage over comfort. That choice saved 284 children. But more, it inspired thousands to make the same choice, to see injustice and refuse to look away. The message isn't that you need to be extraordinary. It's that extraordinary things happen when ordinary people refuse to be ordinary. Right now, somewhere, there's someone suffering. Someone has failed. Someone waiting for just one person to see them and care. You could be that person. You don't need a degree or millions. You just need to notice, to care, to try. What injustice in your world are you going to stop ignoring? What suffering will you acknowledge? What courage will you find? Comment below. Tell me the truth. What will you do differently after hearing this story? If this moved you, if it challenged you, if it reminded you that one person can make a difference, then share it. Share it with someone who needs to remember their power. Because Elena's story proves the most powerful force isn't money or status. It's compassion that refuses to be quiet. It's courage that refuses to back down. It's one person saying, not on my watch, and meaning it. Thank you for being part of this community. Thank you for listening. Thank you for believing change is possible. Subscribe to Unbroken Truths. Turn on notifications. There are more stories to tell, more injustices to expose. More people need to remember they're not powerless. Until next time, keep seeking the truth, keep breaking silence, keep loving courageously. This is Unbroken Truths, reminding you that the most beautiful sound in the world is someone saying, I see you, I believe you, and I'm going to help you. Because sometimes that's all it takes to change everything.